an airport police officer attempted to pull over a motorcycle rider in the vicinity of the airport of the AB Wampat International Airport. Now, it appears at this point that the rider of the motorcycle refused to stop. So the airport police officer gave pursuit, and the pursuit continued along the airport road down into the Harmon Industrial Park area onto what we call Adrian Sanchez Street. A lot of people know it as Hamburger Road. It was during the pursuit when the operator of the motorcycle lost control and crashed. What we've gathered so far through the investigation is that the officer did discharge his firearm, and the rider of the motorcycle was struck at the time in his lower extremities. So the incident was called in, and the medics from GFD responded. The rider of the motorcycle was transported to GMH, where he's currently being treated for the injuries that he sustained. Immediately, the Guam Police Department was contacted. Dededo Precinct officers responded. Once we understood what was going on, we contacted the Criminal Investigation Section of the Guam Police, as well as the Highway Patrol Division. They were called in as well. So this is the case is still under investigation, and at this point, we're still looking into exactly what transpired, how it all happened, how it transpired, what led the officers down or the officer down into the Harmon Industrial Park area. So that's where we're at. And again, the case still remains under investigation at this point.
And now, it was an airport police officer who discharged his firearm?
Yes, that's what it appears at this time. Again, it started with an airport police officer attempting to pull a motorcyclist over, and because the individual refused to pull over, he gave pursuit, which ended up in the Harmon area. So yes, the officer that was involved was an airport police officer, and again, the situation by which the officer felt that he needed to discharge his firearm is under investigation, and that's what we're taking a look at this time.
The man was hit in his lower extremities. Was this in his leg?
It appears at this point that I don't know exactly where he was struck, but the information that I got from my investigators is that he was struck in his lower extremities, in his legs area, in that vicinity. I mean, in that general area. Yes.
He was brought to which hospital?
GMH, the Guam Hospital.
And what's his condition at this time?
I don't know that right now. I was told that he was just transported and he's being treated at this point, so I don't know what condition he's in at this point.
Are you aware of the speed at which the man was going?
I do not. I apologize. I do not know at this point what the speed was. Again, those are things that we're taking a look at, which is another reason why we got the Guam Highway Patrol Division involved, because they are the experts in traffic crashes. They would be able to ascertain exactly what speed the motorcyclist was traveling at, and being able to talk to witnesses at the scene. They should be able to piece that type of information together to determine what speeds the motorcyclist was traveling and what speed the police officer was traveling.
Do you have information on the motorcyclist, his age, and name, perhaps?
I don't have any of that information at this point. Again, as soon as my investigators gather everything, they will be briefing me on more details involving both the officer that's involved in this incident, as well as the rider of the motorcycle.
Any idea if the motorcyclist had a gun on him or any form of weapon?
That I don't know right now. I have not been briefed on that information. Again, we're still looking into that, and for me to speculate that would be premature. So again, those are all things that we're taking a look at to see exactly what we're dealing with and how that situation unfolded.
Are you able to say in what instances it would be okay for an officer to pull out their firearm?
Well, obviously, everybody has the inherent right to protect themselves and defend themselves. Now, obviously, police officers use in the Guam Police Department, as do most jurisdictions, if not all jurisdictions in the United States, we use what's called a use of force continuum. And that continuum starts with just the officer's presence at any particular scene. And that use of force can go all the way up to the use of deadly force or lethal force. That will all depend on the particular situation, and there's a continuum by which all our officers are trained on how that continuum progresses from the lowest level of force to the highest level, which is our lethal force. So for me to say what circumstances that would depend exactly on the continuum, on what decision an officer would make on what type of force to apply.
Do you have any last comments you'd like to add on the incident?
Just to say that the case is under investigation, and we're looking at this from a holistic point of view, which is why we've asked the Criminal Investigations Division to take a look at it, as well as our Highway Patrol Division, because it is traffic related, so to speak. It was at a traffic stop where the incident first started. So from that perspective, we're taking a look at everything. We're interviewing as many witnesses as we possibly can. And based on all that information, we'll be providing a report eventually that will go to the Attorney General's office for their disposition.
There was some reports out there that the motorcycle may have been stolen. Do you know if that's true or not?
I have not gotten that information yet, and I'm being briefed regularly by my investigators. At this point in time, I have not been told that or been briefed that the motorcycle is stolen. I've not been briefed of that.
Any idea on exactly what the traffic stop was for?
At this point, I don't know. I don't know what the reason was for the stop. It could have been for a number of reasons, and at this point, I don't know what those reasons are. But again, it is under investigation, so we should be able to ascertain that information once my investigators are done at the scene.
Is Hamburger Road now open?
At this point, it is still closed, only because our traffic investigators, our Highway Patrol Division investigators are finishing up at the scene. They're briefing me that it shouldn't take too much longer, and we don't anticipate that road being closed for an extended period of time.
What was the timeline of events?
The call first happened, or the incident first happened at 12:30 this afternoon, and shortly thereafter is when the spill happened, the crash happened down at Adrian. That stretch of roadway, technically speaking, is called Adrian Sanchez Street. So that's the street where the occupant of the motorcycle had lost control of the vehicle and eventually crashed. So exactly what time the crash happened and the incident occurred where the firearm was discharged, I don't have that detailed information, but I do know that the traffic stop was attempted at about 12:30 this afternoon.
Well, so in other words, you don't know yet whether or not he was shot first and then crashed, or whether he crashed and then was shot.
I don't have that detailed information just yet. And again, all that we'll get as soon as my investigators are done at the scene.